excerpt from a larger piece that I'm working on about my relationship with my sister. This is creative nonfiction. Your breath stinks, you said as I leaned over you, gingerly pinching the rubber tubes protruding from your breasts and hips, trying to siphon more oily slicks of blood, plasma, and other unidentifiable gore into soft silicone bottles. I shrugged and grinned sheepishly, then formed a small O with my lips blowing directly into your face. I've been up since 4 a.m., having driven from my home in Maine to New York, where you are now laid up in our mother's bed. I'd consumed nothing but coffee for hours. You started to laugh, but winced instead, leaning back on your pillow and trying to take a breath. It hurt whenever you inhaled. I took your hand in mine and petted it like a kitten. Remember when you used to pull muscles in soccer? I asked, trying to sound gentle and comforting like our mother. Well, right now you've got about 3,000 of those little bastards stretched out and screaming in your chest, so try and take it slow. You knew this, but I felt like I had to keep saying it, almost as if by reminding you that the current state of your body, cut apart and sewn back together, was only temporary. Your breasts, which had been removed and reconstructed with the flesh scraped out of your stomach, looked like fat, ripe eggplants stitched together with black thread. There was a jagged scar on your abdomen that stretched from hip to hip. It looked like a wicked jack-o'-lantern grin. You grabbed my hand and placed it on your stomach. It feels like a hardcover book, you laughed. And I was jealous for a second, thinking that you'd probably end up looking like a Barbie. Then I felt bad because you'd only undergone this Frankensteinian procedure because you'd inherited the BRCA gene from our father. Recently, I had come to a better understanding of why you'd chosen the most aggressive responses to your diagnosis. I knew that watching our dad, your favorite person in the world, die of cancer had almost destroyed you. After learning that the gene gave you up to an 85% greater chance of developing the disease, you felt helpless and terrified. You described feeling like cancer was a boulder that was constantly chasing you downhill. Initially, I'd been frustrated with you for plowing headfirst into a series of radical prophylactic surgeries before you'd even gotten sick. First, you'd gotten your ovaries taken out, plunging you overnight into menopause. Now this. There must be preventative things to try first, I raged. Why do you always have to bulldoze your way through everything? I did exhaustive research on herbal options, diet changes, alternative therapies, all the things I would have done had I been diagnosed with BRCA. I hadn't been. I had tested negative. It wasn't altogether surprising, really, that you'd inherited Dad's cancer gene, since the two of you had been alike in so many other ways. Headstrong, loyal, highly sensitive. You shared his facility for commanding the attention of everyone in a room and for loving so fiercely it could feel overwhelming sometimes, almost carnivorous. Growing up, I spent so much time wishing you were more like me. When you were born, I was 2.5, and when Mom placed you into my lap, a fuzzy-headed, blue-eyed baby chick, I pulled back the blanket and shrugged. She's nice, I said. You can take her back now. You were always sweet and loving, but you were also tough, climbing trees and playing with all the boys in the neighborhood. You were my always companion, my hilarious sidekick, the only person who knew my most disgusting habits, my greatest fears, but you never told a soul. I remember always wanting to protect you as if you were my own small baby, but at the same time thinking how much easier my life would be if you just disappeared. Our teenage years were marred with misunderstandings and unspoken hurts. You were the star of the school play, the head cheerleader, while I turned inward, preferring my notebooks, my maudlin music. I think I mourned the loss of you, envied how easy it seemed for you to break away from me and become someone else, someone commanding and popular who didn't need me anymore. We fought like animals. Once you yanked out my hair, pulling a shirt over my head because I borrowed it without asking. I threw a cordless phone at your head because I was jealous that, like usual, the person calling was asking for you. I scratched you with my long nails until I drew blood, and you got me down on the ground with swift kicks, using your solid, athletic legs. You're a fat loser, you screamed. Well, you're a psycho bitch, I retaliated. Feeling ashamed, desperately miserable, but unable to stop myself. Our parents had always told us, even when our relationship was at its most brittle, that in the end, we were each other's only sister. It took time, but eventually I realized what a gift it actually was, having someone who knew all the chapters of your life story. You were my mirror, my constant. You knew everything there was to know. I watched you now as your eyes fluttered closed. I breathed in your coconut shampoo, your clean, warm skin, washed with antiseptic hospital soap. Then I pulled the blanket closer to your shoulders and placed a kiss on your forehead.